Hey, this is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. We are 1 week into the 14-week-long NASCAR offseason. Still plenty to chew on the NASCAR side of things. NASCAR would host its end-of-season awards in Arizona on Tuesday night, putting the bow on the 2025 season. With the NASCAR season in the books, there is still plenty of racing action going on. ASA All-Star Tour would be in action on Sunday for the All-American 400. Their season finale was on track for their first race of the 2025 season in New Smyrna. Excited to highlight this series again. Notable drivers are Derek Kraus, Chase Pinsonnault, Max Reaves, Ty Majeski, Stephen Nasse, Derek Thorn, among many others. That wouldn't be the only racing action, though. NASCAR drivers would be racing at the Krush 250 from South Boston and the Fall Brawl out in Hickory. Discussions with Dave breaking down more of the NASCAR storylines from championship weekend and silly season news. Interview with Truck Series driver and winner of the All-American 400, Dawson Sutton. NASCAR History Time, Paint Scheme of the Week, Yellow Flag, Green Flag, and so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is, with the Xfinity Series name rights rolling over, and now the series will be called the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026 and moving forward, there is one driver that competed in all 365 races in the Xfinity Series era. Can you name that driver? Answer coming at the end. Now the recap from the Krush 250. The State Water Heaters Krush 250, presented by Rogers Heating and Cooling, benefiting the Ward Burton Wildlife Foundation, was hosted on Saturday at South Boston Speedway. Several names from NASCAR were in this one, and it would be a treat for the fans. Caden Honeycutt and Bobby McCarty would be battling late in the race. McCarty initially took the lead with 9 laps to go, working past Honeycutt as they worked through lap traffic. But a caution with 3 to go put the race into overtime. This gave Honeycutt the opportunity to retake the lead and claim his second Krush 250 victory as he powers past McCarty on the inside line. While Honeycutt won the first Krush 250 at Orange County 1 year ago, he was pumped up to back it up with the win in South Boston. Can he go for 3 in a row in 2026? Late models would also be in action at Hickory Motor Speedway for the Fall Brawl. Xfinity standout and driver who was in the Champ 4, Carson Kvapil, would be in action in this one. Kvapil would battle hard with Michael Bumgarner. The two would be battling neck and neck. Bumgarner would get the best of Kvapil, winning the race. As mentioned in the intro, NASCAR would host an end-of-the-year banquet in Arizona on Tuesday. Rookie of the Year Awards, Truck Series, Gio Ruggiero. The 20-year-old driving for Tricon Garage started his impressive rookie campaign, coming in second in Daytona. While ultimately Ruggiero missed the playoffs, with his win at the end of the year in Talladega, he extended the recent streak of rookies finding victory lane, following Lane Riggs, who scored 2 wins in his debut season last year. Along with the win at Dega, Ruggiero had 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s, led 104 laps, and finished 11th in the truck standings, the highest of any non-playoff driver. Rookie of the Year awards, Xfinity Series. Although he did not get the championship he wanted, Connor Zilisch is your 2025 Xfinity Rookie of the Year. So much to say about Zilich's season this year on the Xfinity side. In a full 31 race schedule, 10 wins, 22 top 10s, 19 top 5s, 5 poles, led just under 1,000 laps, 986. He's walking into the Cup Series next year with Trackhouse. Excited to see what Connor can do in a Cup car. Now, Rookie of the Year for the Cup Series goes to Shane Van Gisbergen. As a race fan, you don't think as Shane as a rookie, just with all the experience he had coming in to the Cup Series this year. This was his first full-time season at the Cup level. We know how good Shane is on the road courses, but as the season grew longer, he was getting better and better finishes on the ovals. Nonetheless, an awesome season for SVG. 5 wins, 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 3 poles. Excited for him to continue with Trackhouse. More highlights from the NASCAR awards. As a person, still felt bad for Denny Hamlin, the way he loses the championship. He was in person at the award ceremony. He did not look like he wanted to be there, but hats off to him for being a good sport and attending. One thing that raised my eyebrows, Connor Zilisch, when he was accepting his Rookie of the Year award for Xfinity Series, he was keeping it real. Zilisch went on to say, "I walked into Phoenix thinking I had the championship tied up like a balloon knot. And obviously, the Jesse Love and 2 team, they performed all year. Appreciate the honesty from the youngster in Zilisch. Think Connor is only going to use that experience to push him and fuel for him as he goes to the Cup Series next year." Now for the first part of Discussions with Dave. As we've been talking recently and throughout this year, there's been a lot of spotlight on the playoff point system that NASCAR has set in place. There's been a lot of people, including Richard Petty, that have been arguing for the Winston Cup point system, full season points. Whoever has the best finishes throughout the year wins the championship. People on that side of the argument claim that with the one race championship playoff, it does not take into account the finishes and performances from the other previous 35 point paying races in the season. People have been complaining that Connor Zilisch, with 10 wins the season he just put up, we're talking about his stats, he gets it taken away. But if you do the Busch Series points, yes, Connor Zilisch would be first. But guess who would be in second? Jesse Love, the ultimate champion. This year, drivers have known the playoff system for a long time. And just as Zilisch said, he thought he had the championship in the bag. He didn't perform. He didn't perform 2 Saturdays ago, and he didn't win the championship because of that. Now, let's look if we run out the Winston Cup point system for this year on the Cup Series. Your ultimate champ would not be Kyle Larson or Denny Hamlin. It would have been Christopher Bell. He had 4 wins and wasn't even in the Champ 4. Kyle Larson would have been third in the standings. And you have to go all the way down to the 7th spot in points. With Denny Hamlin 6 wins, based on Winston Cup points, Hamlin would have finished 7th. By that point system, Zilisch would have won the championship by nearly over 400 points. And Bell would have then won the championship by over 130 points. That means the championships would have been decided previous Xfinity, pretty much after Talladega, and Cup, we would have known going into Phoenix that Bell would have won the championship if you're going to do that point system. So it throws the final races of the season out the window. They don't mean anything. And it does not sound like NASCAR is going to implement this system ever again. There's been a lot of noise around it, so wanted to bring it to light. Next topic, more playoff system discussion. I have been a vocal supporter of the current playoff system. I think it is very exciting, and come playoff time, anything can happen. As we know, there's been a lot of talk about tweaking the playoff system for the upcoming season, and as a fan of the current playoff system, I was totally guilty of doing this, and a new system will fix this issue. But NASCAR was saying with so many eliminations, there was a feeling that the top drivers weren't getting enough attention compared to the drivers on the bubble each round. 100% I did this. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, on the Cup side, Zilich, Allgaier, Quapple, you can go on, and Truck Series as well. Those top drivers in the early rounds of the playoffs, because they've amassed so many points with their wins in the regular season and so on and top finishes, they're pretty much locked into that next round. I'm not really paying attention to them. I'm focused on the drivers that are really close to making the next cutoff line or being eliminated. I never really thought of it. I get it. NASCAR thinks it's an issue and they're going to try to solve it. And I think it's a good thing to try to fix. Last topic on Discussions with Dave, Part 1. More silly season news. Several weeks ago, we were talking about how Matt DiBenedetto and Viking Motorsports split and Connor Mozak filled in the remaining races in the 99 Xfinity ride. Was announced that Parker Retzlaff will drive the 99 Chevy for Viking full-time next year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. The youngster Retzlaff, who we've had on the show previously this season, has caught the eyes of many, excited for Parker to have the opportunity with Viking. Another guy we had on the show a couple weeks ago, Corey Day, was announced his plans for 2026. And when we were talking to Corey, he was honest. He goes, I don't even know my plans for next year. But now we do. Was announced Hendrick Motorsports will field the 17 Chevy full-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series with Day behind the wheel. We know that 17 car has race-winning speed. And even though this will be Day's first full-time season in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, believe he can be a championship contender. Now for the recap from the All-American 400. The final race of the ASA All-Star season comes to a close Sunday for the All-American 400 from the Nashville Fairgrounds. Truck Series driver Dawson Sutton would win the pole. Cole Butcher would be second fastest, as the two would make up the front row and bring the field to green. Once they got going, Butcher would lead early. After an early yellow, Butcher and Sutton would battle side by side for several laps. Butcher would prevail and clear for the lead. Another two yellows, the second a planned stop for a controlled pit stop, sees the 28 of Butcher prevail. The 51 of Stephen Nasse moves up to second. After several yellows and the second controlled pit stop, Butcher and Derek Thorn restart with less than 100 laps to go. Butcher again to the lead. Dawson Sutton works back to the P2 spot. Laps later, with 91 to go, Sutton will get past Butcher and lead for the first time in the race. Looks like the adjustments Sutton's team made during the last stop are paying off. Another restart sees Sutton stay in the top spot. Butcher starts to fade as Nasse gets the second. Another restart with 50 laps to go. Then with 34 laps to go, Sutton and Nasse to green. Sutton gets the jump and leads for both. 10 laps to go. Dawson Sutton leads with Carson Brown up to second. Dawson Sutton goes on to win in his home state of Tennessee, winning the All-American 400. Cole Butcher wins the 2025 ASA All-Star Tour Championship as well. Congratulations to both. Now for yellow flag, green flag from the All-American 400. Yellow flag to Derek Kraus. We were speaking to Derek at the beginning of this season in New Smyrna. Tough day for him. He finishes 20th and 39 laps down. Derek, who has made starts at the Cup Series before, was just expecting a little bit more from him. Green flag. Gotta give it to the winner, Dawson Sutton, the full-time Truck Series driver in his rookie season in 2025. Wraps up his season in Phoenix with an early exit, unfortunately. Sutton didn't let that hold him down, though. He gets in the super late model and puts on a show in Nashville, winning in his home state. Now for the yellow flag, green flag from the All-American 400. Yellow flag, Derek Kraus. Tough day for Derek as he unfortunately had a mechanical issue and his day on lap 261. We've seen Kraus make numerous starts at the Cup level. Was hoping for a better finish for him, but it was mechanical woes in the end. Green flag, gotta give it to Dawson Sutton. Wins the pole, plays the long game, and makes the pass on Butcher with 91 laps to go. And man, was that 26 strong on those late race restarts. Now, for a driver interview this episode, and none other, Dawson Sutton, fresh off the All-American 400 win. Here's what Dawson had to say. Next driver, we bring on the splash of gas. Just wrapped up his rookie season on the NASCAR Truck Series 2 weekends ago, but that wasn't enough for him. He went down to win the All-American 400 this past Sunday. Dawson Sutton. Thanks for joining the show again, Dawson, and congratulations on the win in Nashville.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Before we break down the entire truck season, unfortunately, you have an early exit in the last race of the season in Phoenix. You didn't let that hold you back, and you hop in the super late model in Nashville. You get the pole for the All-American 400 the following weekend. After a long truck season, did the experience this year help you hit the reset button so quickly?
Yeah, for sure, man. After that quick finish at Phoenix, that was really unfortunate. That wasn't the greatest end of the season for me, but overall, I felt like it was a really good learning year. For my first ever season in the Truck Series, I feel like my guys and me just kept getting better and better each week, and that's really all I could ask for. I've always dreamed of racing in the Truck Series, and for my rookie year, it was amazing to go to all the tracks that I dreamed about racing at, and overall, I feel like it was a really solid year in that, and the win this weekend at All-American really just put the top on the year for me. I've always wanted to win there at the All-American. It's my home track, so that was such a big win for me. And with the Derby coming up and having that momentum, it's really just I couldn't ask for anything more, and I'm really looking forward to closing out the year here soon.
Awesome. Appreciate you touching on that. Talk about the All-American 400. I mean, how was the 26 feeling early in the practice and qualifying sessions?
Yeah, it felt great. We've had a lot of momentum here recently in the super late model. My guys have been putting together really good pieces each and every week, and they've been working their butts off. So I really, I can't ask for anything more from them. And I feel like, on my side, I feel like I have so much momentum, and I feel like we're really, really lights out right now on the super late, everywhere we go. And I think I read something earlier, or my last 5 races, I've won 3 and finished second the other 2. So I feel like we're really, really good right now on that. And with the Crown Jewels, the Snowball Derby coming up, I can't ask for anything more. And second place at the Winchester 400, really wanted that one too. But hopefully next year I can race some more, Crown Jewels, and hopefully pick off some more of those. And it's been great.
Gotcha. Yeah, those Rackley War guys have been really bringing you the solid piece on the super late model side for sure. In the first portion of the race on Sunday, you settled into second. Butcher was firing off fast early. Did you learn anything about his cars or his car on those restart?
Yeah, for sure. He was really fast, especially on the short run. Had lots to drive off, but I feel like we were overall pretty equal on the long run. He could definitely just check out there early, but I really just struggled on the restarts there early when I was firing off on the bottom. I had, lots of wheel spin, and I feel like I just struggled a lot keeping up with him there. But overall, I feel like there in the last stage, I feel like, well, for whatever reason, he got a little bit too snug. And once I got under him and got clean air on my nose, my car was just really solid. I feel like my restarts were a lot better toward the end there. I didn't know what I was doing at first, but I feel like we just kept getting better and better all day. And, these races take a lot of just everything to win, a lot of luck. And I feel like everything has to go, perfect. And I feel like, Sunday everything executed really well. And these races are really hard to win. So I feel like we did a really good job executing all day.
Got it. You just answered my next question, how you made that pass with 91 to go on Butcher. Seems like the 26 really came to life after the second planned pit stop. How was it feeling? It seems like it looked a lot stronger on the restarts there late.
Yeah, for sure. We had a really good strategy going there with our tires, and we definitely saved the best set for the last stage, and everything executed really well. Like I said, and I feel like we executed really good all day. I feel like everything from our entire team standpoint went perfect, and that's what you have to have in these crown jewel races. And I feel like we executed really well.
Awesome. Appreciate you going over those details. In the end, just like you mentioned, you executed. You hold off Cole, and the Nasse and Brown late. At the end, you really had the best car. You're from Tennessee. University of Tennessee on the car. What did it mean for you to win the guitar on Sunday and in front of your friends and family?
Yeah, man. Like I said, it means everything to me. This is one of the ones that I've always wanted to win, and to have Tennessee on the car and to win at the fairgrounds. I live 20 minutes from the fairgrounds, so it's crazy having that short drive home after that. It really just feels surreal, and it almost just doesn't even feel real. And I haven't even fully, I really just can't believe it still. I'm very just starstruck, but it was super amazing winning in front of, all my Rackley guys and having all my family out there. It was crazy, and I can't ask for anything more. And I still remember, 2 years ago when I raced at the fairgrounds full time in the Pro Lite model, and I always dreamed of that moment. So it was very surreal.
Awesome. Really glad that you're able to have that moment. Getting into the truck series side of things, you just finished your rookie season, a long season and a grind, as you were just saying. You started in February in Daytona and just wrapped up in Phoenix. After 25 weekends of truck racing, as a driver, how do you think you've improved throughout the season?
Yeah, it's been a really, really long season in the truck. I feel like, we fired off. We struggled at first, but I feel like our guys just kept getting better and better. And I feel like me as a driver, in a totally different world of racing, the truck series is a lot more difficult on a weekly perspective where you have, 25 races, like you said. And it's really just back-to-back races. So you got to really just work really hard each and every day of the week and put every bit of time and effort into it, just learning. And luckily, I have a lot of resources in Kevin Harvick and Willie and all those guys that help me to, they've all done this before in the truck series, so I have a lot of resources to ask questions from, and I'm super thankful for that. And but breaking down into it, it was really this long year, and I feel like we kept getting better and better each week, especially toward the end of the season with Talladega and Martinsville, and I feel like we just keep getting better and better in the mile and a half stuff. And I feel like it was overall a really good rookie year. I didn't have crazy expectations leading off into it, but I feel like I learned a lot in every perspective, and that's really all I could ask for in that. And I'm just really looking forward to next year and seeing what we have, in store for all these guys.
Awesome. Appreciate you touching on those details with your support system. Just we were talking as your first season in the truck series, going to a lot of new tracks and for the first time for you. In the truck series can have limited practice sessions and then, one lap qualifying. How are you able to adapt to a track so quickly throughout the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's the hardest part of it is the practice standpoint. You get so limited practice, even on the road courses, 50 minutes is a lot of practice for those guys. And, you know, in the late model world, 50 minutes is nothing. So I'm used to practicing, 3 hours every weekend, which is, it's basically just a weekly basis for me. And to firing off all these different racetracks that I always dreamed of racing at, it's just super amazing to, see what these trucks are about. And it was just a great year. I was really just starstruck, my first time at Daytona, just making laps around there. It was unreal. And I've always, dreamed about that moment ever since I started racing 4 years ago now. So it was a super good year, though. I feel like I, got to race at all these cool racetracks that I always dreamed about racing at, and I feel like we kept getting better and better, and it was awesome.
Sweet. I appreciate you touching upon that. What is one track that you feel like you struggled at this year but are looking forward to going back next year?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the super speedway standpoint. It's a lot of different stuff that I'm not really used to, but I feel like Talladega really just had a big improvement there, and I feel like Daytona next year, the first race, it's such a cool race, night race, and all the fans come out. It's awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that one the most. I feel like it's such a big race, and, to fire off the year, I feel like you can really just put yourself in a good position on, the points basis as well, and I'm really looking forward to that one, going down there in February and having a great week. But overall, I'm looking forward to the super speedway stuff the most, just because the improvements from Talladega, and it's so much different than the late model side of the world. A lot of pushing and aero stuff, but I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
Cool. Leading in right into my last question, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you hopefully run New Smyrna, then Daytona. You finish off the season strong. Last 10 races this year, you scored 4 top 15s, with your best finish this year coming at Talladega, finishing 4th. After starting 12th there, how were you able to work through the chaos and get up front? And how can you use that momentum next year starting in Daytona? It seems like you're well prepared.
Yeah, overall, like I said, I'm really new to all of this, especially the super speedway side of the stuff, and that was really it was awesome finishing 4th at Talladega. It's such a cool racetrack, but overall, on my standpoint, I feel like just the work that I put in this year on that side of the stuff, it's really just showing improvements, and I feel like Daytona next year is such, it's a lot like Talladega as well, so I'm really looking forward to that week, and overall, the top 15 finishes closing out the year, I feel like we had some really good momentum, and we could just keep getting better and better. And I'm really looking forward to some of the mile-and-a-half stuff next year, and the road courses as well. I don't have much road course experience, but I'm really looking forward to going there next year and hopefully kicking butt.
Heck yeah. Really appreciate you touching on all those details. Can't wait to watch you in the 26 for the Snowball Derby, as you were saying, and best of luck there, and we'll talk to you soon. And congratulations again on the win on the All-American 400, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Talk to you soon.
Sure.
See you.
Great talking to Dawson again. Truly appreciated the insight he had, especially about the All-American 400. Was glued to the TV for every lap on Sunday for that one. Now for Paint Scheme of the Week. Gotta give honorable mention to Dawson Sutton's 26 with a very cool University of Tennessee paint scheme, but wanted to highlight one of my favorite paint schemes from the ASA All-Star Tour, and that's the Flamin' 69 of Michael Hind. Now for Discussions with Dave, Part 2. Corey Heim versus Gibbs? All this year, in the championship episode, we have been talking how good the 11 truck of Corey Heim has been. Dominated the truck series this past season. Heim, as we know, is the development driver for 2311 Racing and made several starts at the Cup level, getting solid top 10 finishes, looking good. It hasn't been announced to what series that Corey Heim is going to race next year. We know it's not going to be in the truck series. He's going to be moving on from Tricon Garage, and is he taking the step up to the Xfinity series, to the Cup series? Is that going to be full-time, part-time? What is his schedule going to look like next year? And part of Heim's development deal this year was several starts in the Xfinity series with Sam Hunt Racing. Sam Hunt Racing, along with Joe Gibbs, are the two Xfinity teams that run Toyotas in the Xfinity Series, Toyota Supras. Sam Hunt driver Dean Thompson had several strong finishes this year with one top 5 and one stage win. But is Sam Hunt competing each week for wins like Joe Gibbs Racing? No, they're not. But it didn't really pass my mind on why Heim wasn't in one of the Supras for Joe Gibbs. With the NASCAR season over, there's a lot more light shed on how all the pieces are going to fall for the rides next year. Fox Sports' Bob Pockrass said if Joe Gibbs Racing wanted Heim, they would have had him this year. The ARCA battles with Ty apparently don't make them a good fit. End quote. The rivalry was born from the 2021 ARCA season where Heim and Gibbs clashed on track for the championship that year. That resulted in off-track name-calling. Now, thinking back to the 2021 ARCA season, I remember Ty Gibbs being strong. I remember his win in Pocono that year at the ARCA level. And those battles between him and Heim were great racing between two young, up-and-coming, promising drivers that both of them still are. When Heim signed with Tricon, and of course when he signed the development deal with 2311, who has a partnership with Joe Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs made his Cup Series debut with 2311 when Kurt Busch was injured that year. I truly thought the two buried the hatchet. With Pockrass shedding light on this topic specifically, that is definitely not the case. And I was truthfully surprised by that as a fan and someone that follows the sport. I get it, but I don't get it. We see how aggressive Ty Gibbs has been when he won the Xfinity Championship, butting teammate Brandon Jones out of the way to grab the win in Martinsville that year. And Ty didn't do any favors in the post-race interviews. Corey Heim has not been known to use his bumper on a regular basis. And Joe Gibbs Racing, they love winners. It's a head-scratcher on why they haven't welcomed Heim with open arms to their Xfinity team. Heim has the sponsorship deals. He has the talent. Can't wait to hear what Heim's plans for next year will finally be. Next topic on discussions with Dave, rumor, smoke, Tony Stewart, and Casey Kane to run select races with Ram? Yes, folks, that is a rumor that's going around right now on the NASCAR news side of things. We saw Casey Kane race in the Xfinity level this year, making his return to the sport, but it sounds like Ram is also trying to get Tony Stewart back in one of their race cars or trucks in 2026. If it's going to be with Ram next year, it's going to be at the truck level with Colleague Racing in one of their trucks. For Chris Rice and everyone at Colleague, getting such veteran talent like Kane and or Smoke is just a slam dunk no-brainer in my opinion. Really hope these rumors are true and we see both of them at the Truck Series next year. Last topic on DWD, Goodyear tire testing. Goodyear was not sparing any rest for the weary after the NASCAR season was over. They were with teams hitting the track for a tire test this week at Bristol. A 2-day Goodyear tire test is scheduled for this week at Bristol with the goal of dialing in on an optimal setup for the Cup Series 2 visits to the Tennessee short track next year. 3 teams, one from each of the Series 3 manufacturers, are scheduled to participate in the test Wednesday and Thursday on the .53-mile concrete oval. The teams participating, 2311 driver Bubba Wallace, Hendrick Motorsports driver Alex Bowman, and RFK Racing driver Ryan Preece. Officials said that the test's main objective is to determine a tire setup that promotes fall-off and emphasizes on tire management but without the excessive wear that the Cup Series race saw this past September. Along with this main goal, NASCAR is trying to zero in on a setup that's more temperature neutral with tires that react the same regardless of any swings in track temps. Love how Goodyear is attacking the issue, wasting no time. Drivers were just on track in Phoenix, as we know, about a week ago. 3 of them are on track testing for Goodyear already at Bristol. Appreciate the effort from all involved. More racing to look out for this upcoming weekend is the 60th running of the Florida Governor's Cup held at New Smyrna Speedway. Cars will be on track starting this Thursday, and the Governor's Cup will be Saturday. Past winners are Ty Majeski, 2024 Truck Series champ, who won the event 3 times in a row from 2015 to 2017. Then late model legend Bubba Pollard won in 2020, Steven Nasty Nasse won in 2023. There was no race last year due to Mother Nature, and Sammy Smith, Junior Motorsports Xfinity driver, won in 2021. Gonna be some talent in this year's running of the Governor's Cup. We'll have our eyes on that one. We'll touch upon those results next week. Now for NASCAR History Time. As Dawson said in the interview, he's looking forward to this year's running of the Snowball Derby, the biggest late model race of the year, held the first weekend of December in Pensacola, Florida. Wanted to touch upon a past Snowball Derby that is a very historic one. Waltrip versus Sanders. In one of the most infamous mix-ups in short track history, Darrell Waltrip climbed out of his car at the 77 Snowball Derby, waving to the crowd and celebrating on what he thought was a huge win at the time. Cameras rolled, interviews happened, and Waltrip walked away with the trophy and the glory. But later, officials discovered they made a scoring error. Waltrip was actually been a lap down. The real winner? Ronnie Sanders. Well, Waltrip kept the spotlight and the trophy. Yes, Sanders eventually got the prize money and a replacement trophy the following spring. To this day, the original Snowball Derby that Darrell Waltrip was given on when he thought he won the Snowball Derby in 77 has never made its way back to Sanders. Thought that was neat and wanted to touch upon that. Now for NASCAR Trivia Answer Time. As mentioned at the beginning of this week's episode, the question is, with the end of the Xfinity Series era, there was 363 races in total. There was one driver that raced in all of them. Name that driver. Answer is a little bit of a harder one. Ryan Sieg. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weicker, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. The holidays are a great time to plan a trip to Disney or Universal. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weicker. Hope everyone has enjoyed this episode. Thank you again to Dawson Sutton for joining. Hope everyone gets a chance to watch the 60th running of the Florida Governor's Cup Saturday night. Should be a good one, folks. Till next time, Splash of Gas out.